My name is Doug Parker. I'm the host of Cruise Radio. This is a video tour and commentary of the brand new Celebrity Edge. If you have any questions about the ship, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Also, you can find a full review down below as well. Enjoy the review.
What was your first impression of the ship?
So walking on the ship, first off, from the hotel, I could see Celebrity Edge, and I could see the big, everyone knows the orange magic carpet on the side of it. It's on the starboard side. And I was super stoked because, we've been talking about it for the past couple of years now, and I just keep saying it's very gimmicky, it's whatever. But, when I actually sing it in real life, I was super stoked about it. And then we'll talk more about it later, but actually experiencing it was even 10 times more awesome. But walking onto the ships, so very chic, very contemporary. You board the ship on Deck 5 midship. And a really fast system there. They ping you on. And one thing I've noticed, and I haven't sailed like Royal Caribbean in a while, but you actually just put your sailing sign card up against the security podium, and it dings you in and out. Instead of them having to hold your card and scan it, it's kind of just like RFID. Bing, bing, and you're on the ship. But you board the ship on Deck 5 midship, and it's right there where the Grand Atrium is, which is on Deck 3. So that whole level, goes 3, 4, and 5. And go left, go right. There's only 2 elevator banks on the ship, so if you're looking for an elevator, you walk forward or walk aft because you're not going to find one midship.
Size-wise, how does the ship feel? It's sort of mid-size, right?
Yeah, it's 129,000 tons, I believe. So you know how on some ships, if you want to go from the front to the back, you have to walk through a casino or you have to walk through a restaurant or a lounge or what have you? Well, on this one, it's just, I don't know if the word's like line of sight. You just can you could walk forward to aft or aft to forward and not have to go through anything. There's just walkways on either right down the middle of the ship or on both the port and starboard side of the ship. So the way this ship was designed for passenger flow, spot on.
All right, well, let's get to some of the really important stuff that everybody's going to be kind of talking about. First of all, I believe you had one of these new veranda rooms that have the infinite veranda. How was that?
So the infinite veranda was really cool because I walked into the stateroom and I actually just thought it was an ocean view cabin. So I was like, okay, cool, have an ocean view for a couple of nights. This is going to be fun. I'm only going to sleep here anyway. And as I got to playing around the cabin, I realized that it wasn't an ocean view cabin. Well, it was, but it was really an infinite balcony cabin. And what that means is, how your normal balcony cabin has a door, a slider door, or a door you pull open to go out to your balcony. None of that was there. The stateroom ended at the glass from floor to ceiling, and there was a switch next to on the wall, about 5 feet up, that had up and down on it, and you pushed down, and the glass started rolling down like a car window. It opened up your ocean view stateroom and made it a balcony, and it was really, really cool.
You mentioned that it was about 5 feet up. I have to assume that's to make it child-proof so the kids can't play with it.
Yeah, the regular railing on a cruise ship is 48 inches or so. So I would say it's probably about that standard.
What was the rest of the room like as far as technology? Because it sounds as if, this is kind of a big technological advance. Were there other, kind of cutting-edge things in the room?
Yeah, so there was. Actually, it was a smart room, which was a first for me. Well, it's a first for a cruise ship. It was cool laying in bed and syncing up your you can download the Celebrity app from Android or Apple or sync your phone to the room. So you could turn on TVs from your bed, you can turn on the lights from your bed, you can put there's this shutter, so there's a shade that goes down over the big window pane from floor to ceiling. A blackout curtain, pretty much. It comes out of the ceiling. You can shut that from your app. You can control your AC from the bed. Like, you do whatever you want to on this app, and it's really cool. It goes so much further than your stateroom. You could do like your dining reservations on it. Check your folio like everyone else.
Could you open and close your balcony?
I don't think you. I was trying to figure that out. You can do the blackout curtain, but if you can. I couldn't figure it out, but you might be able to. But also there's a switch on the wall that's kind of like a digital thermostat that also has all the controls that you see on your phone as well.
Now, please tell me about the bathroom. And the one thing I want to know is that they don't have shower curtains in there.
There's no shower curtains, and you're in like a kind of like a cylinder, but a big cylinder. And the door is even curved when you open it. And Celebrity had this on their Solstice class ships as well. And the bathrooms are actually 10% bigger than the Solstice class, and the staterooms themselves are 23% larger than Solstice class. So you have some pretty good square footage in these rooms, and they're so well appointed how they made these rooms that, again, there's space. And I don't say that about a lot of balconies because I just got back from a 14-night cruise on Carnival, and there was 2 of us in the stateroom, and we were like bumping into each other left and right, whereas there was 2 of us in this stateroom, and there was plenty of space. But I mean, like, back to the bathroom, there was the the regular jet shower and the plastic acrylic tube, I call it. And you had actually like you had body wash, shampoo, and conditioner. So there was 3 pumps in there. There was a shower bar, so the ladies can shave their legs while they're in the shower there. A lot of cruise ships do not have those. As far as space goes for hanging up clothes and storage, there was 6 drawers on there. The beds are high enough off the ground where you can put your luggage underneath your bed. There was a double-decker place to hang your clothes, so kind of a top level and a bottom level. And then there was cubbies throughout the room as well. I did appreciate that there were 4 USB ports in the room. There were 2 at the vanity, and there was 2 by the bed. And there was also a plug by the bed and 2 plugs by the vanity and a European plug there as well. So I always bring a power converter. So I always have one more plug than normal because I always use my European converter as a plug as well. So I love the fact that there were so many plugs in there. Yeah,
I also like that there were so many near the bed. Because you always want like to be able to plug in your phone or your Kindle or whatever right there next to the bed. So I find that really convenient.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, just the room was so contemporary, man. And I think that I am curious about like these infinite balconies, how, things do kind of mess up. So will someone's window get jammed at some point? Probably so. But this is a first ever. Like, this is a cruise industry first, and I think it's just super cool.
Well, speaking of things getting stuck, I think that same thing about the magic carpet, so let's sort of talk about that for a second, because that is also an industry first. And it's also something that's got a lot of working parts that could go wrong, but it didn't on this trip. So tell me more about the magic carpet.
Okay, so the magic carpet is the big orange thing that you see on the side of the ship, and everyone is like, it's the big draw to Celebrity Edge. And it's I say orange, it's actually the official color is tangerine, but it's a 90,000 ton piece on the side of the ship, and it's basically a big elevator that goes from deck 2 all the way up to deck 14 or 15, and it serves as different purposes. So like when it's on deck 2 at the destination gateway, that's the area it's called, it's a loading dock. So you actually go through this loading area and you walk down the steps. You step onto the magic carpet, and from there, you'll board a tender boat and tender into port. So like say you're docking in Grand Cayman where there is no pier, you would step down to deck 2, and you would board the magic carpet, and then from the magic carpet, it's like a floating dock. It'll take you to the tender boat. So that's one part of the magic carpet. Then it raises up to deck 5. There they do brunch and dinner, and it's an extension of Raw on 5, which is the seafood restaurant on deck 5, and it's a la carte, by the way, so there's no set pricing there. But you can have brunch or dinner on the magic carpet, basically the same menu as Raw on 5, and it's an extension of the restaurant, so you can sit inside or you can sit on the magic carpet and have your lunch or dinner. And then from there, it goes up to deck 14, 14 or 15, and it was a bar and a music venue. There was someone playing music on the thing. It's different areas, like different decks. It serves different purposes. Passengers aren't actually allowed on it when it's transitioning from deck 2 to deck 5 or 5 to 14. So it's not an elevator ride. Like, you're not going to experience this thing and actually ride it, kind of like the Rising Tide bar on the Oasis class ships. It's nothing like that. Like, when you're at sea and when you're moving, and at any time it's transitioning from top to bottom or up to down, people aren't going to be on this thing. But as far as when it's stationary, yeah, walk out on it and just enjoy life on the edge, as they say.
About how many people does it hold?
We had about 100 people on it, and it was it was comfortable. You walk on it, and you board from the front or the back of the carpet, and right along the middle there's this big bar. And then there's a bunch of couches and tables, but all of the bar is stationary, but the tables and the couches and everything, they can be taken off because, like, when it's a music venue on there, on the upper decks, there's going to be more couches and more chill spaces. But when it's down on deck 5, there's going to be more tables because it's dinner on the edge type thing. You know what I mean?
Since we talked a little bit about Raw on 5, let's talk a little bit more about dining. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they do not have sort of your traditional main dining rooms on this ship.
Yeah, so they've broken them down. Kind of, I believe it's like Royal Caribbean did when they did dynamic dining. Whereas, like I'm comparing this ship to the Solstice class because I've sailed a few of those ships, and they had the main dining room in the Solstice class on the Solstice class ships. Well, this one there's actually 4 main dining rooms. There's the Cosmopolitan restaurant, which is kind of a global type fare. There's the Cyprus restaurant, which is Mediterranean. There's the Normandy restaurant, which is French themed, and then there's the Tuscan restaurant, and that's Italian themed. Now, all 4 of these restaurants, 80% of the menu is the same from restaurant to restaurant. Where they differ in the 20% is that they might have like a veal parmesan in the Italian restaurant or a Greek dish in the Cyprus restaurant. So there's a little bit of local flair, but again, 80% from restaurant to restaurant is the same menu.
All right, that's kind of cool. What about the buffet space?
The Ocean View buffet space, I have to say, is probably the space itself is just super cool because you think of a buffet and you're like, okay, your mind automatically goes to a feeding trough. This has 10 to 12 different stations. So kind of like how Royal has on their Quantum and their Oasis class ships, where you can kind of go to the different areas. Like there's Indian at one, there's a pasta station at one, there's a meat carving station somewhere, a salad station. But this area, outside of the food and there being just tons of seating, it's two decks high. So it actually spans deck 14 and 15. Now you can't sit up on 15, but the ceilings are that high. So it's really, instead of a typical, 8 or 9 foot ceiling, you have an 18-foot ceiling there. And the glass, like all around the Ocean View Cafe, it's ocean view because it's, again, like the stateroom, it's floor-to-ceiling windows all around. And there's plenty of seating, not only by the buffet area, which is kind of mid to aft on the ship, but as you walk back, you can keep on walking back, and there's plenty of tables. And then if you walk outside of the Ocean View, there's a deck space with a bunch of tables set up where you could have your lunch overlooking the back of the ship.
What about specialty restaurants?
There are quite a few on there. And I say that because outside of the, people might think the Cosmopolitan, Cyprus, Normandy, and Tuscan are a specialty, but because like the Tuscan Grill is a specialty restaurant on the Solstice class ship, but it's just a normal main dining room on this ship. So you have the Rooftop Garden Grill. That's at the top. It's a rooftop bar, really cool, really chill vibe, barbecue pretty much. Like it's a barbecue restaurant. Lunch up there is, I believe, $25 and dinner is $45. Then you have the Raw on 5, and that's a seafood restaurant. That's a la carte pricing. And then across the way from there, there's a place called the Grand Bistro. It's a French restaurant, and they have like a brunch there for $10, and they have a lunch there for $20. And then Le Grand Bistro turns into Le Petit Chef, which is a $55 3D motion experience with your meal. So I'm trying to think how to explain this. They have these 4K projectors above each table, and there's animation playing throughout your meal, whether it be someone walking across your plate. So between each scene, like someone walks across your plate or does something, and then all the servers bring out your meal at one time. So when they put your meal in front of you, whatever's happening on the scene on your table is happening on the plate. Like the chef has designed your plate to reflect the scene that's happening on the table. Does that make sense, or did I totally?
Yeah, it sounds completely amazing.
Yeah. The company's called Tablemation who does this. And it's really, it's pretty wild. Yeah.
One of the other places that is sort of a combination of entertainment and restaurant and viewing area is Eden. And that's another of the things on the ship that's gotten sort of a lot of buzz about it. So did you get to experience Eden, and what was the experience like?
I got to experience Eden. Yeah, I got to experience Eden. I still don't know if I could actually explain what it's like. It's just, it's a room on deck 5 aft, and you think of a like the Garden of Eden, maybe. It's really jungly. It's really dark in there, and there's the Edenists that live in there. And they're, that's the theme. You go along with all this. And they greet you at the door at night, and they give you a tour of their city. It's a multi-level area, so it's kind of a ramp that kind of goes up 2 decks. And then there's different Edenists that like ours was named Zoom, and then Bloom was a girl. And I don't know, just such a wacky experience, man. But it's a guided tour, and you never know what to expect next in this place. 1 second there could be someone swinging from a trapeze, and the next second someone's trying to dance with you. It's just a really cool space. It comes to life at nighttime. Daytime, it's kind of a chill place to read. Kind of, if you're familiar with Royal Caribbean's Quantum class ships, like the 270 in the back, it's just like that during the daytime. And then at nighttime, it transforms to this interesting area. Yeah, it's a continuous flow, so people are always walking in. You're taking the tour, and you can kind of sit down and watch them perform on the stage. You can have a drink, and they make their drinks with like all these like plants. Like they're pulling stuff off plants and making your drinks. So I don't know what that's called. Is that called mixology, Richard?
I guess it is. Yeah, sure. We'll call it that. So basically, you can come in and go out, and it's not like a set show where you have to, to be there at a certain time and have a reservation. You can just sort of wander in and out.
Yeah, it's a lounge. That's all it is. It's just a lounge, and you could wander in and out and interact with these characters if you want, the Edenist. If you don't want to, just be like, I don't want any part of this, and just kind of sit down and watch. But yeah, it's an interesting space, man. I posted some pictures on Facebook, and you have to kind of see it to believe it. Like, I'm just not good at painting the picture of this place because it's just it's far out, man.
I have a feeling that even photos won't really capture it because it's such an experience, and it's one of those things that everybody is going to have a different experience. So, what happens. What happens in Eden stays in Eden, I guess.
I would highly recommend going there. They also have it's a dining venue as well. There's a restaurant there in Eden, and I believe it's like $65 for the experience to eat in Eden. And then there's also a kind of like a marketplace in Eden as well, which is complimentary, different from the dining venue. And when you go there, you can get like finger foods, snacks, and like light lunch fare.
Yeah, that sounded a lot like the 270 Cafe on, for example, Anthem of the Seas, where it was a sort of a nice place to just you could grab some food and go eat in. And there it was 270. Here it would be Eden, I guess.
Yeah, same exact concept, pretty much.
Did you see any of the shows at night outside of Eden?
I did. I saw both of them. The one that really stuck out was called the Jewelry Box, and that one was a Cirque meets high energy effects type show.
Mm-hmm.
And the way their stadium is set, or not stadium, their theater is set up, there's a big like 270-degree screen, whereas a typical stage on a cruise ship is just a rectangle stage. In a rectangle space with the curtain and all that. Well, there is no backstage on this thing. Performers are coming out from the sides because there is no backstage. There's a big screen there, and that screen is incorporated into the show and into the effects of the production. And I will say that the Jewelry Box, the Cirque show, was cool. It's about 45 minutes. And the show the night before that, can't remember the name of it, but it was a high energy kind of a singing with a live band. And I appreciate that because so many cruise lines are going towards tracked music these days, and like it's pretty much watching a karaoke show. This was like legit people playing the guitar, playing the drums, and people singing their heart out. So I really appreciated that. So those are the 2 shows I saw. The theater was awesome. There's no poles in the way. There's no obstructions. The line of sight is perfect from anywhere in the house. 2 stories. The shows were great.
Did you happen to hit the nightclub on board, which appropriately enough is called The Club?
I know, right? I didn't actually go to the club, but it's a 2-level club. There was a live DJ in there, a nice-sized dance floor, a bar, and kind of 2 stories, so you could take the steps up to the second, and watch and look down onto it. Also, the destination gateway was a silent disco. That's where the magic carpet would load you to take you to your tender boat. That area is also transformed to a silent disco a couple nights during the cruise.
And if you have never been to a silent disco, I highly recommend it. I did it on the Bliss. It was one of the most fun nights that I had on the ship. It's a blast. You can tell that there's a lot to talk about on this ship because we've gotten this far in and we haven't mentioned the pool at all. And that's something, that everybody asks about on the ship. So what was the pool like on Celebrity Edge?
The pool area was definitely cruise ship meets South Beach. You have the loungers in the water on the side, tons of seating all around the ship, 2 levels there. Hot tubs next to the pool, they were like in big champagne glasses. So picture it starting on deck 14 where the pool deck is, and the stem goes all the way up to deck 15, and that's where the hot tub is. So you can sit in the hot tub and overlook the pool if you wanted to. Also, the masked bar out there for hamburgers and drinks, and then the sunset bar up a level and back. Also, the running track. This running track on Celebrity Edge is like no other track I've seen on any cruise ship out there.
Right, like it has hills and curves and stuff, right?
Saying. Yeah, like it goes like up and down over 2 decks. So instead of like running underneath the funnel on Carnival or running on the outside deck on the other ships, just on a flat surface, you got some hill action going on. Like if you were training for something, you could totally use that course for training.
One of the other things we haven't talked about that everybody asks about on a ship, and I know there's something very unique about this one, and that is the casino.
The casino is non-smoking.
I'm stunned by that.
Yeah.
So many smokers are gamblers, or I should say so many gamblers are smokers, that I'm actually stunned to hear a cruise ship saying no smoking in the casino.
I was talking to one of the casino hosts on the sailing, and I was like, are they going to keep it non-smoking? And he said, yeah, they're sticking to their guns. I'll be curious to see if it draws the non-smokers to the casino or if they'll eventually have to make it smoking. But for now, totally non-smoking.
I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of gamblers who do not like that. But for the folks who don't smoke, that's just I don't know that I've seen that on any other ship recently.
Well, see,
you've seen non-smoking areas, but for a whole casino to be non-smoking.
Well, in the smoking areas on the ship, there are plenty of them outside, and when I was talking about the kind of the rooftop bar they have on there, well, that not only is that a restaurant, that's also like a rooftop bar you would go to in a big city, and in that rooftop bar, they have a big screen, kind of like, like all the cruise lines have that big screen by the pool. Well, this one's at the rooftop bar, so you can actually, they're playing sports there on Sundays and Thursdays, like the football games and all of that. There's also a live, like, acoustic guitar player out there. There's drink service out there. So there's smoking areas around that, and on the aft part of the ship and on the upper decks of the pool as well, you can smoke.
It sounds like this ship made a really big impression on you.
It did, and it does, and it will continue to, because even though I was only on it for 2 nights, this is one of those ships that I would totally sail it again and go longer because I want to experience it all. I want to figure out what the heck Eden was about. It's just so bizarre to me. I didn't get creeped out in there. I didn't get weirded out, but I still don't know what the hell was going on.
What kind of itineraries is she going to be sailing?
She'll be doing Eastern and Western Caribbean sailings, alternating, and then heading over to the Med in spring of 2019, and then back over here again in the winter of 2019 to do it all over again.
All right, so it sounds like I'll have to look at 2019 if I want to book.
And there's just so much to talk about with this ship, like even like this spa, like the thermal suite. I'm recently a fan of the thermal suites after getting the pass on Carnival for 14 nights. Like their steam room, the rain room, the salt room, the crystal room. There's just so much that Edge has to offer. Let me know when you want to book, because I'll probably book the same sailing you do.
All right, let's look into it.
There you go. All right. Well, what else you got for me? Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Tell people where they can read some more about it.
If you want to find the review, I'll link it up in the show notes below, or you can check it out on the website at cruiseradio.net. Just type in Celebrity Edge Review. Also, Richard, thanks for coming on and doing this interview on short notice. As I mentioned earlier, I just got off the ship this morning. I wanted to talk about it while it was fresh in my mind because God knows it won't stay there long.
And I was dying to hear about it, so it was a good time.
Thank you again for watching this video tour of Celebrity Edge. If you have any questions about the ship, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the Cruise Radio weekly podcast at cruiseradio.net. Thank you so much for watching.